Hi, I'm Amanda, and I'm a staff member at First United Methodist Church in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And today I'm going to be answering the question, is snow a gift of God? It's not often that South Central Pennsylvania is absolutely paralyzed by snowfall. The last time it happened was January 23rd to 24th, 2016, when we received 31 inches of snow in 48 hours. I had a job interview scheduled on one of those days that got postponed and then moved to uptown Harrisburg. I was driving a Honda Fit at the time, and it can't drive in even half an inch of snow, so I almost got stuck on 3rd Street several times on the way home. It's hard to know exactly how much snow we got on January 25th, 2026, because the official measurements are all over the place. The airport in Middletown set the day's record with 14 inches. Palmyra's official measurement was 9.1 inches, and 9 inches seems about right for what I had to shovel and clear off our cars just outside Hummelstown. My therapist in Oberlin said they got closer to 12 inches, and Mechanicsburg only got 8 inches. Thankfully, it was not the 15 inches plus that was predicted. Opinions about the desirability of snow tend to vary wildly depending on age and profession. Children today don't even like it as much as we did back in the early 90s because now school takes place at the dining room table over Zoom. Back in 1993, we missed 14 consecutive days of school in March and had to add half an hour to the school day to finish the year on time. In a rather ironic loophole, that time was not used as instructional time. It was just prolonged homeroom. That says something about the district I grew up in, and it's not anything good. Of course, kids still get to go sledding and build snowmen and have snowball fights when they're not in school, so most kids still enjoy a good snowfall today. Adults are the ones who have to deal with shoveling sidewalks and driveways and backyard paths for dogs and clearing snow off of cars parked outdoors and then driving those cars on poorly plowed side streets to get to work. A friend of mine had to work at a grocery store on the West Shore on Sunday afternoon. She said there were 10 employees in the whole store and no customers. Aside from the grocery store employees, everyone else I know either had off or worked from home on Monday. Christian blogger Rick Hamlin writes that, quote, "A snow day feels like a message from God saying, slow down, savor my creation. You don't have to rush, rush, rush. Watch what I can do to the sky. Look at how I can paint my world. It seems like a heavenly reminder that all we can accomplish, all that we work hard for, is nothing compared to what the Lord can do with his own magnificent brush. A gray world turns white. Everything is transformed." Elihu, in the book of Job, quote, proclaims God's majesty in verses 5 through 7. Quote, "God thunders wondrously with his voice. He does great things that we cannot comprehend. For to the snow, he says, fall on the earth, and the shower of rain, his heavy shower of rain, serves as a sign on everyone's hand, so that all whom he has made may know it." Later, when God speaks to Job directly, he asks him if he has, quote, entered the storehouses of the snow, or have you seen the storehouses of the hail, which I have reserved for the time of trouble, for the day of battle and war, verses 22 to 23. These two passages indicate that God is in full control of snowfall. It is born in heaven with him and stored until it is needed, and it falls at his command for purposes only he can know. Yes, one of those purposes may be to pause our busy lives so we can look upon his handiwork and rejoice in the beauty of nature around us. We can slow down and savor this world that he gave us. We can connect with our families and friends and play instead of work for a short period. My therapist said her 61-year-old pastor and his wife discovered that a hill behind their church made a perfect sled run. They invited the whole congregation to join them for sledding, popcorn, and hot chocolate on Monday afternoon. But I think God has another purpose in mind as well. In Mark chapter 12, we hear this teaching from Jesus himself, quote, "One of the scribes came near and heard them disputing with one another, and seeing that he answered them well, he asked him, 'Which commandment is the first of all?' Jesus answered, 'The first is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these," verses 28 through 31. Snow brings an opportunity for people to assist their neighbors. In New York City, City, recently elected Mayor Zoran Mamdani was spotted personally assisting motorists whose vehicles were stuck in snow in the Williamsburg neighborhood of Brooklyn, according to LU Magazine on Facebook. Here's another story I found on Facebook. Quote, "Here's the true immigrant story in my neighborhood. Yesterday I went out to shovel, trying to get ahead of the snow. I shoveled about 2 shovels, and a young man shoveling out his car with a broken accent, parentheses, I don't know where he was from, offered to shovel and shoveled out both mine and my neighbor's driveways. No payment asked for today. I was working on getting my car out. I planned on it taking all day. I worked a little bit on it. 2 Asian ladies who spoke no English came and shoveled and helped me shovel out the rest of it. They both knew no English, but that's the norm rather than the exception. That's what immigrants do. Just wanted you to know what wonderful neighbors I have, and I'm sure there's the same all over this country if we just embrace them." In my writing group chat room, one of our leaders had her own story to tell. Quote, "We had some really nice people stop by last evening though to help snowblow our drive and blow off our cars, which was insanely helpful. My lungs are really bad with cold air. I saw a lot of posts on the community pages about people going around helping others out with the snow, and it was really nice. A good reminder in these days that there is still good in this world. In these days when we seem to hear nothing but bad news about selfish and cruel people perpetrating harm on others, a big snowfall is a reminder
that there's some good in this world and it's worth fighting for.
Sometimes, loving our neighbors as ourselves looks like an Amazon driver stopping to shovel a customer's wheelchair ramp, or police officers clearing the driveway of an elderly man who suffered a heart attack halfway through shoveling it. What would Jesus do? Well, he'd pick up a shovel and get to work digging out a disabled woman's car."